hindi po dapat mababawasan yung denominator, no? So it still is 24, no? So in this case, kung sakasakali man po na hindi makaka-attend si Senator Bato de la Rosa at saka si Senator Jinggoy Estrada, mananatili pa rin po yung denominator natin sa 24. Kailangan pa rin nila ng 16 to convict, no? At ito po yung medyo gusto nilang baguhin right now, which I think the framers of our Constitution, particularly Chief Justice Hilario Davide and former Chief Justice Ascuna also have commented already, no? Their legal brilliance is really very much felt here dahil binabanggit nila hindi po pwedeng mabago. It's really about the 2028 elections, and they're going to do everything, even to the point of bending the law as what they're accustomed to doing, and also sabihin natin hanggang sa pagbali dito sa Constitution kaya nilang gawin para lamang talaga masiguro nila yung kanilang political convenience by 2028.
Bakit 16 ang conviction pero pwedeng 9 lang ang acquittal para sa mga lolo't lola sa kantong ng gigigil at gustong malaman kung ano ba talaga ang katotohanan at tama para dito po sa usapin to? Prof?
Okay, from a legalist perspective po, no, o yung tinatawag nating purist intent, okay, maliwanag po yung sinasaad ng ating saligang batas under Article 11, Section 3, Paragraph 6, no, that the voting for an impeachment constitutes 24 senators. No? So regardless whether they were physically absent, they are actually incapacitated at the time, or meron silang kung anuman, maaaring kaso or whatever it is, that prevents them from physically attending, hindi po dapat mababawasan yung denominator. No? So it still is 24. No? So in this case, kung sakasakali man po na hindi makaka-attend si Senator Bato de la Rosa at saka si Senator Jinggoy Estrada, mananatili pa rin po yung denominator natin sa 24. Meaning to say, silang dalawa, technically, will be entered either a vote of abstain or a no. No? Pero kinakailangan pa rin nila ng 16 to convict. No? At ito po yung medyo gusto nilang baguhin right now, which I think the framers of our Constitution, particularly Chief Justice Hilario Davide and former Chief Justice Ascuna also have commented already, no? Their legal brilliance is really very much felt here dahil binabanggit nila hindi po pwedeng mabago dahil may mga kadahilanan. Basically, kumbaga meron talaga tayong tinatawag na legal rationality kung bakit hindi ito po pwedeng galawin. Number one, hindi po pwedeng ma-weaponize yung pagbabago ng denominator to suit a political convenience. No? Particularly, hindi natin siya pwedeng bawasan para lamang bigyang daan yung tinatawag nating political vendetta. Kasi kapag nangyari yon, we are setting a bad precedence, no, na maaari talagang magamit ng ating mga sa susunod na mga pagkakataon na magkakaroon tayo ng impeachment para talaga ibaba nila yung denominator para mas madali yung conviction. So ito yung tinatawag ko po na manufactured conviction. No? And this is something that we don't need at this point in time. Secondly, may mga teorya po kasi, no, na kinakailangan nating balangkasin. Unang-una po rito yung tinatawag nating textualism or originalism theory. Meaning to say, kung ano yung pagkakalatag sa konstitusyon, wala po tayong ibang interpretasyon dito dapat. No? We cannot read it between the lines. So if the Constitution says that all 24 senators, hindi po natin po pwedeng bawasan yon. Although there are legal grounds, no, po pwede natin itong bawasan. Basically, kung meron talagang death, no, if they resigned or if they were expelled by 2/3 majority nung kanilang mga kasama sa Senado, yun lamang ang maaaring magdahilan. Pero kung kagaya nga noon, yung sinasabi natin sa kaso ni Senator Bato and Senator Jinggoy Estrada, it does not apply. No? Another thing is yung high bar principle. Sinasabi rin dito sa teorya na to na itinataas natin yung bar ng isang impeachment proceeding primarily because ang inahalal dito ng taong bayan na gusto nating tanggalin ay talagang binoto at large. And if we are talking about the Vice President, she was voted by 32 million Filipinos, the highest in history. And kung ang pagbabatayin lamang natin ay yung boto ng iilan para siya ay tanggalin dito, no? Pwedeng whimsical yung ground, pwedeng arbitrary, and certainly this is not in consonance with what the public truly wants. So again, we are not disfavoring the process. Again, I'm not against the impeachment. In fact, I've said this many times over in many interviews that we need to undergo the impeachment because it's a constitutional hallmark of our democracy. Secondly, this could be a chance for the Vice President to really show or demonstrate her, sabihin na natin yung kanyang kawalan ng guilt dito sa issue na pinupulaban sa kanya. And thirdly, para nga makita natin na buhay yung hostisya dito sa ating bayan. Pero kung ganito yung kanilang gagawin na wine-weaponize nila yung legal procedures para lamang sa kanilang political convenience, then that becomes a problem. Okay? So another theory, yung last theory natin, yung tinatawag po natin due process mechanism. No? Very primarily, ito yung nasa isipan ng framers ng ating constitution. So that this will not set a not so good precedence na kumbaga kung ikaw ay merong kaaway sa politika, gagamitin mo yung impeachment as a tool just to exact vendetta or revenge sa kanya, and definitely hindi ito magiging maganda sa kalakaran ng ating demokrasya. So ito po yung mga legal frameworks, no, na po pwede natin tingnan. Hindi po ako abogado, pero the thing here is that we don't need to be a lawyer to understand these things. Kung titignan natin at babalangkasin natin kung ano ba talaga yung sinasabi ng Constitution, I think magiging maliwanag po sa atin ang lahat. Pero kasi kung papasok po rito yung tinatawag nating political leaning or yung political convenience natin para ma-distort yung ating pag-unawa doon sa tinatadhana ng batas, dito tayo magkakaroon ng problema. And I'm really concerned about the case, for example, of former Associate Justice Carpio, who is supposedly a legal brilliant person, pero parang hindi niya po yata masyadong nauunawaan na sinasabi ng ating saligang batas. So ito po yung mga konteksto na gusto nating tingnan dito at balangkasin. And maybe later on, maaaring marami pa tayong mga gustong itanong o pag-usapan, maaari po pa rin po kayong biglang ninaw dito.
Thank you very much, Prof. Tuloy-tuloy, talagang parang andaman natin, alam na alam. Kaya kulang na lang sabihin, kailangan pa bang i-memorize yan? Pero maraming maalam na dahil we know the fact that they have the authority, pero titingnan mo mabuti, pakikinggan mo mabuti, alamin natin, mag-aral tayo ng sama-sama. Bakit? Kasi minsan, may nambubudol pa rin. Because of yung ating tingin sa kanila, kinikilala natin sila, akala natin tama yung lahat ng nilalabas sa bibig. Pero dahil sa mga eksperyensya natin, na yung mismong inaasahan natin na gagabay sa atin at magbibigay ng tamang informasyon ay minamali at hindi kinikilala ang batas, minamali at pilit na iniiba ang konstitusyon, mag-ingat na tayo this time. Kanina, nagsasalita si Prof, bakit all members ang nakasulat sa Article 11, Section 3? Takot ba sila sa MOB or mob rule? At also, Professor, alam naman ng lahat na ang partido po ng PDP, syempre, ang bet ay si VP Sara. Ang feeling ng iba, safe tayo dahil po sa two-term. Tama ba yung mindset na yan? But, history check, may napatalsik na ba sa impeachment o laging nalulusutan dahil sa 18? Prof, please educate us.
Alright, kasi po titignan natin, nagkaroon na po tayo ng dalawang episodes ng impeachment. No? Basically, we had it in year 2000, 2001, panahon po ni President Erap. No? Although this was not, hindi po nauwi sa botohan. No? Dahil alam natin kung ano nangyari, napigilan yung opening ng second envelope, nagkaroon ng walkout, and eventually, before we know it, nagkaroon na ng EDSA DOS. Right? So hindi po tayo umabot doon sa botohan. Pero during that time, 22 lang po silang na nakaupo, technically, no? Na maaaring bumoto. Pero at the onset, hindi po napag-usapan kung ilan dapat yung makakaboto. Kasi yung nakaupo during the time na ini-impeach is the president. Meaning to say, wala silang nakikita na possibility na po pwede pa siyang humabol ulit in the next elections. Iba po yung usapan ngayon because the one that we're impeaching right now is the Vice President. And not only that, she already testified her intent to run in 2028 elections. She is consistently the front runner. So kumbaga parang maliwanag na itong impeachment na to, wag na po nating magpaligoy-ligoy pa, no? Wag na nating itago po ito sa ambit ng hustisya o na accountability. Pero it's really about the 2028 elections. And they're going to do everything, even to the point of bending the law as what they're accustomed to doing. And also, sabihin natin, hanggang sa pagbali dito sa Constitution, kaya nilang gawin para lamang talaga masiguro nila yung kanilang political convenience by 2028. Two things, no? Preventing a Sara Duterte from running will mean that they have greater chances of, having somebody there that they can control. Secondly, hindi sila mapapanagot. Dahil the truth is, and I've said this in many interviews, the only opposition that we have right now is Sara Duterte. Nobody else. Okay. So maliwanag po tayo ron. Ano? So nung namang, balikan ko lang, no? nung namang 2016, nagkaroon tayo ng issue ng impeachment kay Chief Justice Renato Corona, 2017, 23 lang sila ron na senators. Kasi si Senator Benigno Aquino, of course, he became a president in 2010, technically. So, wala siyang wala siya ron. So, ang mangyayari dito is hindi naging hadlang na naman itong bilang ng denominator kasi medyo maliwanag talaga yung trajectory, 20 to 3, no. Pero kasi habang luminipis yung bilang at habang sabihin na natin lumiliit yung possibility of conviction, mas lalong kinakabahan, lalong-lalo na yung majority ngayon. So they are really looking for in trying to lower down the denominator because clearly right now what they have is 13. Okay, so if they could lower it down to 15 or 14, it will really suit their agenda, technically speaking. And so this is the reason why they're really moving heavens and hell para talaga ibaba ito. Ang tanong natin is, tama ba? Okay? Kasi po alam nyo, I've been teaching the Constitution for more than 20 years now. At lagi ko pong sinasabi sa aking mga estudyante, and they know this very well. The Constitution is the paramount, supreme law of the land in which all other laws must conform with. Diba? Maliwanag po tayo ron eh. Pero bakit po natin kaya at bakit natin ginagawa na baguhin ito? No? Baguhin yung threshold para lamang ipasok yung kanilang political convenience. Kumbaga sa laro ng basketball, no? Meron tayong rules of the game eh. Diba? Maliwanag po tayo dyan. Pero papayag po ba tayo na bago matapos yung laro, ibababa yung goal ng kalaban para manalo sila? Papayag po ba tayo na babaguhin natin yung sistema para lamang to suit their convenience? Of course, that is not how it is. No? And that is not how the rules and the policies should stand by. Because otherwise, talagang magiging kumbaga we will be under the whims of the people in power. And technically, laging mga sinasabi, para na tayong nasa isang mini martial law. No? So, parang ganun ang nangyayari, na kahit constitution, kaya nilang basagin. So, itinadhana po ang constitution to be the supreme and the highest law of the land, lalong-lalo na sa isang impeachment proceeding. Kasi nga, kinakailangang masiguro na yung pagpapatanggal sa isang impeachable officer is really the demand, not only of the times, but of course, of the evidences that are being presented. Ngayon, kung talagang kinakailangan siyang matanggal, kinakailangan po natin itong magawa doon sa itinatadhana po ng ating saligang batas at hindi lamang sa kagustuhan ng ilan. Yun po yung maliwanag dito sa ruling ng isa sa framers ng 1987 Constitution. Again, we are not only talking here of somebody interpreting. We are talking here of somebody who he himself wrote the 1987 Constitution. I'm talking about former Justice Hilario Davide. So, sana tignan natin yun, yung spirit and truth ng saligang batas, yun yung mahalaga. at hindi lamang yung pagbibigay daan natin sa mga political maneuverings ng iilan.